This is a demanding stage of almost 30 kilometers, in which we leave the province of Lugo and enter A Coruña, the last province on the Camino. Halfway along the route, we come to Melide, which is also a good place to stop if we find the day too hard. From there, we have a leg-breaking Camino that continues almost to Arzúa, leaving us 2 days' walk from Santiago. This stage combines art, gastronomy, heritage, myths, and traditions. This is Galicia. Let's go! We leave Palas de Rey behind us as we descend, and shortly afterwards we pass the sculpture of two dancing pilgrims. We climb up to Carvallal, where we have to cross the national road with great care because cars can appear at any moment. We are welcomed by a peaceful oak grove that brings us closer to Xulián do Camiño, where we are greeted by its Romanesque parish church. We may find it open thanks to the wonderful locals who dedicate their time to helping pilgrims get to know their monuments better. Shortly afterwards, we begin a seductive descent to the Pambre River, a tributary of the Ula, which we cross in the idyllic spot of Pontecampaña. The subsequent correduara that separates us from Casanova advances wildly over the rock but seems to have been tamed, as it now has a smooth appearance. In Casanova itself, we can admire a large oreo so common in Galicia. It is a rural construction, narrow, elongated and raised above the ground, where food from the harvests, such as corn and cereals, was stored. Through an evocative stretch we reach Campania, where we enter La Coruña, the last province on our pilgrimage along the French Way. Through Coto, we descend to Leboreiro, recorded in the Codex Calixtinus as Campo de Liebres, Field of Hares. There is always something to see in every place, in every village along the Camino. Look here, we have this Romanesque church with the Virgin Mary on the tympanum and corbels, which has been watching pilgrims pass by on the way of St. James for centuries. But next to it we have a cabazo, which is an ancient oreo with intertwined poles and a roof made of vegetation. You have to walk the way of St. James with your eyes open to see what you find. Let's keep going. We leave the Leboreiro area and cross a bridge over the Seco River. A dry terrain of scrub and weeds and the nearby industrial park take us to Furelos, where we cross the river of the same name over a four-arched bridge of medieval origin that was renovated in the 18th century. The Church of San Xuan houses a very curious carving of Christ crucified. He remains nailed to his left hand, falling onto his right arm. We then reach Melide. The old milestone marking the last 51 kilometers still survives. We are entering Melide, and look at all the things there are to see. On the other side of the road is Pulperia Ezequiel, a very typical place to eat pulpo a la fera, octopus. We cross the road and come to this side, where we find this sculpture. I invite you to look at it from both sides. You'll see how striking it is. And then we see the Chapel of San Roque, and just behind it, a stone cross that some historians say is the oldest in Galicia. As such, the stone cross indicates that we have entered the town, we have entered Melide. In the convent square is the Church of Sancti Spiritus, which was owned by the Franciscan convent founded in the 14th century. Opposite the church is the Museo da Terra de Melide, built on the site of the old Pilgrims' Hospital, whose main facade has been preserved. Pilgrims on the primitive way come down this street, and here we all walk together towards Santiago. It's time to recharge our batteries, as we're halfway through the stage. On leaving Melide, we follow the Rua Principal, leaving the Capilla del Carmen Chapel on our left. It is located where the medieval castle once stood, and many centuries before that, the Perromano fort. We descend to Santa María de Melide, where we see this jewel of Romanesque art, classified as a national monument. Take the opportunity to go inside if you see that it is open. Beyond the temple, after the houses of Carvallal, we come to a fork in the road. We end up in Boente, a village that belongs to the municipality of Arzúa. We pass by the Saleta fountain, where there is a stone cross, and cross the national road next to the Church of Santiago, visited by many pilgrims. The stage becomes more demanding from Boente, first descending towards the rest area of Punta Brea, and then making a steep climb that leads us to the village of Castañeda. At the top, we come to another fork. On the left, there is a route that is 300 meters longer and has no services, although it has more shaded sections and less asphalt. We continue straight ahead along the traditional Camino, although it is now called the complementary route. Both routes join before reaching the river, where we make another climb among eucalyptus trees before finally dropping down into the valley of the Iso River. Here we find the beautiful enclave of Ribadiso da Baixo with its bridge over the river and the public pilgrims' hostel. There are also private hostels. One last effort remains to reach the national road again and cover the last stretch to Arzúa, which seems to go on forever. We end this long stage here in Arzúa, where we join the pilgrims from the Primitive Way and the Northern Way, which ends here. Together we will travel the last 40 kilometers to Santiago de Compostela. Arzúa is the capital of the region and is known for its cuisine, particularly Arzúa cheese, which is considered one of the best in the country. So now we know what to order for dessert tonight. Buen camino!